Hey, hey, hey. It is an unstoppable day. We're going to keep trying. We're going to make this happen. We are going to make this happen one way or another. We are going to make this happen. We are going to make this happen. I'm unstoppable. It is the show, the Unstoppable Story Show. We are doing the Facebook Live edition directly. Hey, Leslie, thanks for joining. Hey, Karine, thanks for joining. Greta, thanks for coming back. We are looking for Lady Reshell. Lady Reshell, come on in so that we can definitely talk to you. As you guys know who was watching earlier, I am the host of the Unstoppable Story Show, where we talk to ordinary people with unstoppable stories. And we love to tell stories. We love to tell stories that encourage you. We love to tell stories that motivate you. We love to tell stories that help you move to the next level of your greatness. But sometimes, sometimes the devil gets busy and he doesn't want that story to be told. And he is trying his damnedest to not let our guests get on tonight. But we are unstoppable. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. So we're talking, not really celebrating Cancer Awareness Month, but we're giving credence to it. We're shedding light to it. As you're probably hearing a lot of shows talking about cancer this month. It's the month of October. It is the Cancer Awareness Month. I'm waiting to see if our guest is going to make it in. So put a comment in, Lady Reshell, if you are in the video right now, if you're watching us, so that I can reach out to you and bring you in. And if you are watching right now, go ahead and swipe and share. This is going to be some great information, bringing action to the awareness about cancer awareness. Many of you, just like me, have either experienced it personally or somebody in your family has experienced it. I shared earlier in the broadcast that my father died from stomach cancer, and both my mom and my aunt have experienced um, cancer in one shape, form, or fashion. So this is something that is very near and close to my heart, and I'm sure it's to yours as well. So we're going to talk about it briefly tonight so that we can bring the awareness and the action to the awareness. Speaker who's going to come on, LadyReshell Dotson Matheny, one of the co-authors in my book, You Are Unstoppable, Moving from Past to Purpose. Yeah, there you go, there you go. She is right there, looking just as beautiful as she wants to. And she's got two chapters in the book, and she is a cancer conqueror. She doesn't call herself a cancer survivor. She is a conqueror. She is healed, and she is giving back. She's just not resting on her laurels. Uh, Come on, I added you, adding. So you should have gotten an invite later, Michelle. Oh, looks like you just reclined it. So declined it. Let's try this again, Lady Michelle. We are not going to let this stop us. We are not going to let this stop us. We're going to bring you on. But she was going through her cancer journey. She had many reasons to die, as she was going through it. But thank God, and but God, she was able to find that she was positioned for purpose and she found reasons to live. So we thank her so much for finding those reasons to keep on, keeping on till we end to this story. There you go. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Okay. Ah, what? What? I'm hearing you.
I, I can hear you fine.
Lady Reshell Dotson Matheny, welcome to the abridged version of the Unstoppable Story Show. I told you we
Yes.
was we were stuck, we were stalled, we stumbled, but we are unstoppable because I know how important your story about your journey and what you're doing now that you are a conqueror to help other women and other men in this journey. So I'm gonna shut up because I've been talking for like 50 minutes now, but I'm gonna reintroduce you, LadyReshell Dotson Matheny. She is the co-author in our book, You Are Unstoppable, Moving from Past to Purpose. She is a cancer conqueror, and now she is an advocate for cancer support through her nonprofit organization, Warriors Talk Incorporated. And she is the wonderful, phenomenal host of her own talk show, Warriors Talk, on the UBM Network, Urban Broadcast Media Network, every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central. Welcome to the show, LadyReshell.
Thank you so much. Finally.
Finally, better late than never, right?
Yes.
So, you know what? I really want you to talk to our audience about being a cancer conqueror. But first and foremost, what I always ask every guest on the show is when you hear the word unstoppable, LadyReshell, what does that mean to you?
Well, when I hear the word unstoppable, I think about somebody that's persistent, somebody that does not give up no matter what failures come your way. You keep pushing through. If you think about eating a cake, and if you try to eat the cake in one setting, you'll probably get sick or you probably won't be able to eat it all. And so if you dissect it into slices, you'll be able to digest each individual slice. And that's how I look at somebody that's unstoppable, is that they keep pushing through no matter what.
All right. And that's definitely been your story, how you have been able to keep pushing through. And if I'm correct now, I believe you're going into your fifth year of pushing through this phenomenal, sometimes up, sometimes down cancer journey. Is that correct?
Yes, November 1st would be year 5 for me.
Wow. So go ahead, tell them a little bit about your story uh, from diagnosis to where you are right now.
Well, I was actually diagnosed in 2013. I found my lump November 1st. I was vacationing in Vegas with some friends, got in the shower, did an exam, and lo and behold, there's a lump. And so the first thing that came to my mind was my sister that passed away from breast cancer at the age of 52. And I thought about her and I thought about, I'm going to die, And so I made my appointment with my doctor. They got me in right away. And they take you in this room with all these other ladies. They have you to take off your top, you put on like a robe, and you're sitting in this room waiting for them to call you. So all of the ladies in the room are real quiet because in the back of our minds, we're thinking this may be cancer. So we're not having conversations with each other. So they take you in for the mammogram, and if it comes back suspicious, they go ahead and do an ultrasound right there. If your ultrasound comes back abnormal, then they schedule you for a biopsy. So they scheduled me for a biopsy. I had 2 biopsies where they stick this needle in your breast, take out some of the tissue, and put in markers so they'll know where they took the tissues from. And my doctor actually called me and told me I had breast cancer.
Mm, mm. Just hearing about the biopsy and what you had to go through with the biopsy makes it's nothing that I would want to have to endure, nothing that I would want anyone to have to endure. But that's just the beginning of the story, right?
That's yes.
So before you go on with the story, you actually talk about this was kind of like a 360-degree turn for you because just years prior, you were in a hospital room with your sister who was
Mhm.
dealing with the same diagnosis, right?
Yes.
So
So
talk
my
about that a little.
So my mom normally was the caregiver for my sister. So she would take her to all of her appointments. And so I had the day off. So I told my mom I'll take her to her appointment, which was her first chemo appointment, her first and only chemo appointment. And so I took her to the appointment, and I was in school at the time. So I'm sitting there and I'm studying. And the only thing that I can hear as I'm sitting there was drip. drip, drip, as the chemo was dripping into her veins. And she was sitting there unconscious, like not really, knowing really what was going on. And as I sat there, it made me really pay attention, like, she's sick because she's sitting here getting chemo. And at the time, you don't really know how devastating chemo is. And I didn't know until I went through it.
Wow. And then to not really know, but now to have an ideal about it because you saw your sister pass away from it, but now it's you. There's a different feeling, and someone said this to me today. There's a different feeling when you know about cancer, but you know about it through somebody else's journey, than when you have to learn about it through your own journey. So, was there a different feeling for you as you reflected back on your sister's journey and you being a part of that story, and now it's your own story?
It was a totally different feeling because when I was sitting there with her, I wasn't really there with her. I was just I just went just to accompany her to the appointment. I wasn't really there like I should have been as a support to her while she was going through. I mean, I was conversating with her, but I really didn't take it seriously until I actually sat in that same seat and watched that same poison drip through my body. And then the reality set in that, this is serious and that this could possibly take my life like it did hers.
Wow. Yeah, we're watching, you're listening, and you're looking at the Unstoppable Story Show on Facebook Live. I'm your host, Terrence Leftridge. We're talking with cancer conqueror Lady Reshell Dotson Matheny, Gigi Rael. I hope I'm saying that. Gigi Lei. Gigi Lay is saying, "Wow, needed to see this." Yes, and go ahead and share it because if you needed to see it, trust and believe there are other people that needed to see this as well. We are not celebrating cancer awareness this month, but we are shedding light on it. And sometimes, in order to shed light on it, you've got to get deep down into it and talk about the dirty details. So that's I'm so glad to know Lady Rochelle, and I'm so glad that she is the conqueror. She is the warrior who is now out there, not talking about it from a sense of despair, but from a sense of destiny, helping other people to know that if she can make it through, that you can make it through as well. So, Lady Rochelle, pick it up from after the diagnosis. Now what?
Now what? So as I'm coming off of the elevator from getting my biopsy, and my mom is on the elevator with me, and she's really, I would say, religious, and so she right away went spiritual on me, and I told her right now I couldn't see anything else but the word cancer, and in the back of my mind, I was thinking I am going to die. So right away, I had to make a decision. I had to put on my war clothes. I had to get my mind right. So I had to physically, spiritually, and mentally, I had to prepare for war. And because the cancer was aggressive in my body, and so it was moving rapidly. So I had to be aggressive in fighting it.
And now, what stage were you as far as this was concerned?
I was stage 2, and the type of cancer I had was triple negative, and triple negative is mostly found in African Americans and is mostly aggressive and harder to treat.
Okay. And so and that's a great point to say because we all know that there are different levels of it and some have different degrees than others do as well. And so it's good to always know that difference of where the level was. You hear a lot more these days that if you catch it early, it's more encouraging, it's more hopeful. The statistics are higher. Was that the same information that you received when you got your diagnosis? And yes to the question that you put in the book, put in the
Okay.
feed for me.
No. They really didn't go over if you were going to be successful at treatment or not, because they didn't want to make any false promises. Because this is my message: even if you get diagnosed early and you're going through treatment, you still can lose your battle, because everybody body reacts to chemo and radiation and surgery different. So, it just depends. You have to get your team, your medical team together, and you have to really be one-on-one with them to make sure that you know what's going on, everything that they're deciding to do with your body and why. Because what they have is they have this uniform code that they use with everybody that's diagnosed with whatever stage, and they use that type of treatment on you, but you don't necessarily have to go with what they suggest. So I suggest you doing your research and pray and make sure that you're making the right decision, because this is your life that you're messing with.
And that's why I love what your motto is for Warriors Talk. And as you can see, I'm wearing the Warriors Talk ink shirt, supporting the Warriors Talk. And again, because it doesn't just affect women, it affects men as well. And men need to be supporting not just our women, but other men that are going through the struggle as well. But your motto is moving away from awareness towards action. So let's talk about that. We're going to flip the switch. I appreciate you telling a bit of your story. If they want to hear more about your story, go get a copy of the book. We'll tell you how you can get that later on in this broadcast. But why is it so important for cancer, people who are going through cancer, people who have survived cancer, family members who are dealing with it in their family? Why is it so important to move away from just awareness into action?
Awareness does not save lives. There's a saying that knowledge is power, but if you don't do anything with the knowledge, then it does not work for you. So the other part of that is you need to take action. So whatever information that you were given, then you need to take it and apply it to your situation. And so with cancer, I always talk about knowing your risk. When you know your risk, then you know how to reduce your risk. When you know your family history, then you know what you're working with and what you need to have different conversations with your doctor as far as cancer in your family or diabetes, whatever it is that runs in your family. You should be talking to your doctor about that so you know what necessary tests to get.
So in the things that you talk about, moving from awareness to action, give us some of the things that you think people are not taking action with, and then how can we get them to take the necessary action, just in your experience.
How can we get them to take action? The reason why I do the show is because I keep drilling how important it is to not only get the knowledge, but time is of the essence when you are dealing with cancer. Because like my cancer was very aggressive. I found my lump in November. By December, I had two more lumps. And so you don't know until you go in and get screened to find out if you have a cancer diagnosis, and if you do, what stage that cancer is at, because that's going to affect your options. The higher the stage is, then you have less options. And so the key is time. Get in as fast as you can, and that comes by taking action. So I would encourage anybody that if you want to live and if you want to live a good life, because you only get one, then you're going to have to take action and be your own health self advocate and take control and go and see what's going on with your body.
I love it. And to piggyback on that point, did you take the first piece of information that the doctor gave to you, or did you do your own research? Did you get second opinions? And what's the importance of all that in terms of action?
I did not get a second opinion, only because I didn't feel that I need one. If you feel like you need one, I prayed about it. And so God didn't instruct me to get a second opinion. I knew once I found that lump, in the back of my mind, I knew that it could be cancer because my sister passed away from cancer, from breast cancer. And so my goal is to get on top of it as soon as I can. So I did do research. I did my own research by going on the internet. And let me just tell you, when you Google stuff, it's gonna scare the mess out of you. It will. You're gonna be thinking you're dying tomorrow. So be selective when you go on Google because all of the information out there is not true. There was something on the internet saying that 9 out of 10 people that take chemo die. And my thought was, well, why do they put this poison in our body if 9 out of 10 die? That doesn't make sense to me. And so I would say talk to your doctor. Make sure you have a good relationship with your doctor so that they can be honest with you and tell you exactly what is going to be happening, what's going on. So you just have to be